So you need to grow
Mavis,
most of your food
Mavis,
maybe
come here.
indoor, or you need to import your food from certain regions. And maybe you're not able to maintain the civilization throughout the planet to get the infrastructure to get the food to your home.
What's wrong?
But there could be
Why those red?
significant impacts
Who's
in
in
the sense that
trouble?
people begin to suffer. There could be wars over resources and so on.
Mhm.
But ultimately,
What?
do you not have not a faith,
Who's
but
in trouble?
what do you make of the capacity of technological innovation to help us prevent
Who's in
some of the
trouble?
worst
Who?
damages that this condition can create? So,
Who's
as an
in trouble,
example,
baby?
as a almost out there example, is the work that SpaceX and
Oh,
Elon
he
Musk is
almost fell.
doing of
He
trying
almost fell. He
to
almost fell.
also consider our propagation
Maybe.
throughout the universe in deep space
Mhm.
to colonize other planets.
Mhm.
That's one technological step.
But of course, what Elon Musk is trying on Mars is not to save us from
Mavis.
global warming, because Mars looks
Okay.
much worse than Earth will look like after the worst outcomes of global warming imaginable, right?
Mavis, what's
Yeah,
wrong?
yes.
Mars is essentially not habitable.
It's exceptionally harsh environment, yes, but
Who's
what he is
aggravating?
doing, what a lot of people throughout history since the Industrial Revolution are doing, are
Wait.
just doing a lot
What?
of different technological innovation
Why is
with
everybody
some kind
worried?
of target, and what ends up happening is
Who's
totally
in trouble?
unexpected new things come up.
Or
So
not?
trying to terraform or trying to colonize Mars, an extremely harsh environment,
Mavis.
might give us totally new ideas of how to expand
Mavis.
or increase the power of this closed cooling circuit that empowers the community. So, like,
Who's in
it
trouble,
seems like
baby?
there's a little bit of a race between our open-ended technological innovation of this
Mavis.
communal operating system that we have,
Who?
and our general tendency to want to overuse resources and thereby destroy ourselves.
They're
You
scared.
don't think technology can win that race?
I think the probability is relatively low, given that our technology is, for instance, the US is stagnating since the 1970s roughly in terms of technology.
Who's in
Most of
trouble
the
over
things
here?
that we do are the result of human development processes.
What about Intel? What about US?
Very incredible. The things that you do, like, so after the invention of the microprocessor in the late 60s,
Oh my god. I swear. I'm trying to get something to eat. It's like, who's in trouble, baby? Who? Who? What does that mean? Who? What?
But it's all about books.
Wait, who is like who?
There might be things that are beyond books. Might be
Where?
not papers.
Come here.
Come here. Books and knowledge. That's a concept of a time when you
Why
were
you have
sitting
those
there
red
as a
eyes for?
candlelight and individual consumers of knowledge. What about the impact
I'm
that
like,
we're
why do
not
you have
in the
those red
middle
eyes
of,
for?
might not be understanding of Twitter, of YouTube? The reason you and I are sitting here
Who's
today
scared over here?
is because
Who's
of
acting
Twitter and
suspicious?
YouTube. So the ripple effect, and
Who?
there's two minds, sort of
Who?
two dumb apes, are coming
Two
up with
dumb apes.
perhaps a new clean insights. And
I
there's
wouldn't want two
200
dumb
other
apes.
apes listening right now, 200,000 other apes listening right now, and that effect. It's very difficult to understand what that effect will have. That
Where are
might
you
be
at?
bigger than any of the advancements
No, you
in the
can't have hot dogs.
microprocessor or in the Industrial Revolution. The ability to spread
that?
knowledge, and that knowledge,
What?
it allows good ideas to reach millions much faster.
Why are you communicating
And the
like
effect
that?
of that might be that might be the 21st century, is the multiplying of ideas, of
Who's
good
that?
ideas. Because if you say one good thing today, that will multiply across, huge amounts of people, and then they will say something, and then they'll have another podcast, and they'll say something, and then they'll write a paper. That could be a huge. You don't think that?
Yeah, we should have billions for Neumanns
What do you need, Mavis?
Neumanns right now in Turings, and we don't for some reason. I suspect the reason is that we destroy our attention span. Also, the incentives are of course different.
Kardashians, yeah.
So the reason why we are sitting here and doing this as a YouTube video is because you and me don't have the attention span to write a book together right now, and you guys probably don't have the attention span to read it. So let me
But
tell
I
you,
get
guarantee
very
they're
short
still
attention.
listening. First, take care of your attention. It's very short.
But
Cool.
we're an hour and 40 minutes in, and I guarantee
then
you that
trouble,
80% of the
Mavis.
people
You know what?
attention span. It's just the form. Who said that the book is the optimal way to transfer information? That's still an open question. I mean, that's what we're.
Something that social media could be doing that other forms could not be doing. I think the end game of social media is a global brain. And Twitter is, in some sense, a global brain that is completely hooked on dopamine, doesn't have any kind of
Dopamine?
inhibition, and as a result is caught in a permanent seizure.
Yes.
It's also, in some sense, a multiplayer role-playing game. And people use it to play an avatar that is not like them.
Yeah.
They're
An
in a
avatar?
sane world, and they look through the world through the lens of their phones. I
Who?
think it's the real world, but it's the Twitter world that is distorted by the popularity incentives.
What do you
of
want
Twitter.
this for?
Yeah. The incentives.
Why do you want a hot
and
dog
just
for?
The natural biological, the dopamine rush of a like.
Look at it.
No matter how.
What are you
Like
putting on my food for?
I try to be very kind of
Nobody's gonna give you any?
Zen-like and minimalist and not be
There's too much
influenced by
dopamine
likes and
around
so
here.
on. But it's probably very difficult to avoid that to some degree. Speaking on a small tangent of Twitter, how can Twitter be done better?
Where are you at?
I think it's an incredible mechanism that has a huge impact on society by doing exactly what you're doing. Doing exactly what you described, which is having
Where are
this.
you at? There you are.
We're like,
Why are you
is
begging
this
like
some
this?
kind of
Why you
game
beggar
or kind of our individual
Hmm?
RL agents in this game, and it's uncontrollable because there's not really centralized control. Neither Jack
Bandit.
Dorsey nor the engineers at Twitter seem to be able to control this game.
Who's
Or
communicating?
can they? That's sort of a question. Is there any advice you would give?
Who's communicating? Who needs to go
on
outside?
how to
I
control
wouldn't
this
give
game?
advice because I am certainly
She
not an
wants
expert,
food.
but I can give my thoughts on this. And
Yes.
our brain
Where are you going?
has solved this problem to some degree, right? Our brain
Right.
has lots of individual agents that manage to play together in a way, and they have also many contexts in which other organisms have found ways to solve the problems of cooperation that we don't solve on Twitter. And maybe the solution is to go for an evolutionary approach. So
What's
imagine
going
that you
on
have
here?
something like Reddit
Or
or
not going there?
something like Facebook and something like Twitter, and you think about what they have in common. What they have in common, they're companies
Why? What's going
that in
on?
some sense own a protocol. And
Mavis,
this protocol is
why are you
imposed on a
uneasy like
community.
this?
And the protocol has different components for monetization, for user management, for user display, for rating, for anonymity, for other
No.
content, and so on. And now imagine that you take
I
these
could-
components of the protocol apart
Wait.
and you do it in some sense like communities within this social network. And these communities are allowed to mix and match their protocols and design new ones. So, for instance, the UI and the UX can be defined by the community. The rules for sharing content across communities can be defined. The
Get
monetization
out of here.
can be redefined. The way
No.
you reward individual users for what can be redefined. The way users
Why
can
the sun's shining right in
represent
my face?
themselves and to each other
Right in
can
my
be
face is
redefined.
shining.
But
And
who could be the redefiner? So, like, can
What?
individual human beings build enough intuition to redefine those things?
this itself can become part of the protocol. So, for instance, it could be in some communities, it will be a single person that comes up with these things, and others